Hello all, welcome to Scrap Kitchen, where I start a farm from scratch and tell you about it. This episode is called Snowmelt. It was a name I came up with when I was planning this out, and that was before the snow all melted last week. So I'm going to keep the name because it fits in with what I want to talk about. But know that the snow has melted, so technically it's very accurate. Right now I'm drinking a dandelion tea, which has a very similar bitterness to coffee. It's made from the roots, and I think that's kind of funny because I'm reading a book that is the first in the dandelion dynasty, and my logo has a dandelion in it, so I'm really on theme at the moment. I'm really sticking to the brand. This week, what we've been up to on the farm that my partner and I are managing is a lot of cleaning and prepping for the early season planting. We have 3 high tunnels, well, 1 high tunnel, 2 caterpillar polytunnels on the farm, and we've just spent the last few days cleaning them all out of the dead plants and the landscape fabric that we didn't get to last year, and we've been weeding them and prepping the beds, so raking them smooth, ready to be seeded into in the next couple of weeks. We're probably going to plant spinach in those beds, maybe some rocket or arugula as they call here, and probably some radishes, turnips, maybe some green onions if we get them seeded, and beetroot. Yeah, so we've got quite a lot planned for those beds. We've also been doing some DIY, so we bought this big sheet of plywood and several sticks of 2x4s, and we're making a new seeding table. We're kind of copying the seeding table design from one of the farms that we worked on before, which is like a box but with diagonal sides, and then you can put another sheet on top of it to balance your trays on. And so the seeding table, you have a good height all this soil that you put into trays that you then put seeds into, and we want it to be at a good height because the person who's going to be working on the farm this year has been injured before, and we don't want her to get injured again, trying to do non-optimized height, non-ergonomic seeding. So we're redesigning the seeding table. Aside from that, we've been doing a lot of computer work, making posters for the CSA, and updating various things so that we're ready for next year. And we're interviewing people over the next few days for farmhand positions. So it's been kind of busy. So I wanted to call this episode Snowmelt because the snow is melting, but also because of how unseasonably, unfathomably, awfully, but also wonderfully warm it has been recently. It's been 15 degrees Celsius, normal numbers. I don't know what that is in American numbers, and I don't care to learn. It's been 15 degrees Celsius in February, and that is absolutely awful. I mean, it's lovely. It's lovely when you feel the sun on your face. It's glorious that I can have my legs out in mid-February. A random woman walking her dog sang a song at me about having my legs out in early spring, which was a lovely community moment and a little jarring, if I'm honest. But yeah, this is our reality as the climate continues to change. It makes me think back to last year when we were working in really, really strong smoke, and certain days we just didn't go into work because there was so much smoke in the air. And then that obviously makes me think about people forced to work while there's still smoke in the air. So there's these horrifying pictures of during the California wildfires, or the migrant workers still in the field just masked up in dangerous fire conditions. And that is, just abhorrent. I talk a bit more about the inequalities within farming, which I'll probably touch on almost every time I talk. But in a interview that I did with my friend Iona, who writes the Cherry Log Substack, which should be coming out pretty soon, so keep an eye out for that. And I also, this is a running theme. It's almost as if wildfires are becoming more and more common. I also think I wrote about wildfires when I first wrote this newsletter, which I'll link as well. So this is a theme. We're going to keep working in adverse, worse and worse conditions. And yeah, not only is it going to be uncontrollable conditions, it's just going to be more of everything. So in Rhode Island, where my dad lives, his friend grows a lot of tomatoes. Big up Steve Woke, who gave me some tomato seeds. But he had lots and lots of tomatoes just die because of the amount of rain that they had last year. Or there's just lack of sun, or there's way too much sun, or it's 15 degrees in February. So all of this like unseasonability is something that we have to design our farming systems around, and also something that we have to breed for when it comes to seeds. So if I haven't said this already, my true love, my passion, I don't know, I was going to say Magda opus, but that's really corny, is seeds. I really want to breed climate resilient plants. The best way to save a seed is to put it in the ground. That's not me saying it, that's a quote. But putting seeds in a special little seed bag and cup in fucking Norway or wherever is great, but they won't be able to adapt to the climate as well as if you grew them every single year and save the strongest ones so they can adapt to the climate. So if you want to do something, anything, to make yourself and the plants around you more resilient, save seeds. Save seeds from your strongest, hardiest, toughest, wiliest tomatoes or whatever else you grow. And future generations will thank you for it, because that's what's actually going to survive. I probably want to talk a lot more about seeds, but I'm conscious of time. A little update on what we're doing in terms of getting land and everything else. We sent out a couple more of our like mini CV, this is what we want, here's our vision kind of things. We've been looking into various funding options, and we're still trying to look for land. There are a lot of very interesting YouTube videos on how to just claim land in the UK, and I don't think we're going to be doing that, but we are still putting feelers out for people whose land we can use with permission. So that's the plan for now. Yeah, that's basically all I wanted to say. I don't want to ramble on too much on these things, but also we will be going to a conference this week, so an organic farming conference in Ohio, and I'm really, really excited, bringing it back to them core tenets I talked about before, to do some connecting with other farmers and some knowledge sharing with other farmers. Well, I'm going to absorb all their knowledge, and I might occasionally like say something kind of possibly helpful, but realistically I'm going to be the sponge, and then I'll wring out that sponge for everyone else. This metaphor is getting disgusting. Okay, well, that's all I wanted to say. I hope you all have a lovely week, and yeah, stay hopeful. Enjoy this unseasonable, terrifying weather.